we are going to discuss about one disease condition, that is the hydrocephalus. Okay, hydrocephalus is one of the central nervous system disorder in the children. Okay, in this, what is mean by hydrocephalus? Means abnormal production of cerebrospinal fluid. Okay, abnormal production of cerebrospinal fluid in the ventricles of the brain. Okay, in brain ventricles is there, no? Okay, ventricles is the parts of the brain. Okay, in that brain the cerebrospinal fluid production should be excessively secreted. Okay, that condition we are called as the hydrocephalus. Okay, these etiological factors. What are the etiological factors? Means in this increased secretion of cerebrospinal fluid. Okay, one disease, why the disease will comes means due to the secretion of cerebrospinal fluid in the brain. Due to that reason, the children may have one disease of hydrocephalus. Okay, in this impaired absorption of CSF. Already the cerebrospinal fluid should be secreted in the brain, and the cerebrospinal fluid should be absorption. Okay, in this normal absorption should be abnormal. Okay, there is impairment in the absorption of cerebrospinal fluid. Due to that reason also the children may have one disease of hydrocephalus. Okay, next another reason, that is the genetic defects. Okay, through the genes or through the chromosomal abnormalities, the children may have one disease of hydrocephalus. Okay, sometimes due to the thrombosis, means a thrombus formation in the ventricles, then the secretion should be increased, or after secreting the cerebrospinal fluid, due to the obstruction of thrombus, the cerebrospinal fluid not absorbed. Okay, next another one, that is the intracranial infection. Is there any infection in the brain, or is there any infection in the some parts of the brain or spinal cord? The infection of microorganisms or bacterial infection, it will be spreading to the cause of excessive secretion of spinal fluid. Due to that reasons, the children may have one disease of hydrocephalus. Okay, another one is the neoplasms. Excessive growth of the ventricles or sometimes brain, or some neoplasms, nothing but the tissues or the cells having increased their size. Okay, due to that the children's brain may have excessive neoplasms or excessive structure, and growth will be increased. Next, hemorrhage, any internal bleeding in the brain. Due to that reasons also the children may have one disease of hydrocephalus. Okay, next we will move on to the types of hydrocephalus. Okay, here mainly two types is there, that is the non-communicating hydrocephalus or obstructed hydrocephalus. Okay, non-communicating hydrocephalus or obstruction of hydrocephalus. In this what happens means the flow of cerebrospinal fluid should be obstructed. Okay, obstructed in the ventricles and subarachnoid space. Okay, arachnoid space, subarachnoid space is there now in the brain. In this subarachnoid space, the fluid should be obstructed. Okay, in the ventricles, subarachnoid space, the fluid, cerebrospinal fluid, that should be obstructed. That condition we are called as the non-communicative hydrocephalus or obstructed hydrocephalus. Okay, next communicating hydrocephalus. Okay, in this communicating hydrocephalus what happens? Here outside of ventricles. In this hydrocephalus what happens means obstruction in the ventricles only, but here outside of ventricles. Okay, in this communicating hydrocephalus, outside of ventricles, the fluid should be decreased absorption. Okay, absorption should be decreased, and in the subarachnoid villi, in this subarachnoid space obstructed, in this subarachnoid villi absorption should be decreased. Okay, this is the differentiation between the non-communicating and communicating hydrocephalus. Okay, next we will move on to the clinical manifestations. How we will identify the children exactly suffering with the hydrocephalus means excessive head growth. Okay, the head circumference should be increased according to their age group children. For example, the newborn babies we are taking means in between two newborn babies who are healthy, those are having normal head circumference, who are having this disease of hydrocephalus, those head circumference should be increased than the normal. Okay, next that delayed closure of anterior frontal. Okay, in this anterior means in skull bones fusion together, here that hole is there. Okay, that hole some anterior frontanella, posterior frontanella is there. In this anterior frontanella, within the 18 months of age group, the frontanella should be completely closed. But here delayed closure. Okay, the anterior frontanella according to their age group, according to their normal, the anterior frontanella not closed. Okay, delayed closure of anterior frontanella, that will be assessed in the children's. Next, another one, that is the vomitings. The children may have sometimes vomitings and increased blood pressure and decreased pulse rate, increased temperature. Okay, means TPR, temperature, pulse, BP and respiration. These are vital signs should be abnormal in these children's. Next, double vision. The children having the visual difficulty, that is the double vision. Another one is sometimes personality changes. In previous videos we have to discuss what is meant by personality, thinking, judgment and behavior and feelings, thoughts, ideas, all are normal means they are having good personality. These are abnormality means they are having some changes in the personality. Okay, these symptoms we are identified in the children who are suffering hydrocephalus. Okay, next one is the diagnosis. In this we have to collect a complete history of children from the mothers. Next, physical examination. In this physical examination we have to assess the skull anterior frontal closing or delayed, and what is the head circumference of children, is there any abnormality or is there any structural abnormality, that will be identified by doing the X-ray and CT scan. Okay, in this double vision should be find out by doing the ophthalmoscopic examination of the children. Next, management. What is the management we have to provide for the control of this disease means acetazolamide. Okay, another procedure, that is the lumbar puncture. Okay, by doing this lumbar puncture we have to remove the excessive secretion or which is the obstruction of fluid is there, that is the cerebrospinal fluid, that will be removed by opening off by doing lumbar puncture. Okay, for maintenance of normal cerebrospinal fluid. Okay, next another one, that is the surgical management. In this surgical management we have to provide that we have to do the ventriculoperitoneal shunt. Another one, that is the ventricular atrial shunt. Okay, these are the surgical management. And nursing management, as a nurse we have to maintain the normal body fluids. Okay, for why? Because if the children are having any vomitings, okay, for maintain the normal fluid balance, and we have to maintain the normal vital signs, temperature should be normal, BP, pulse, respiration, these are vital signs should be normal maintenance. Okay, next we have to improve the visual capacity of an individual. We have to provide behavioral therapy to the children. Why? Because they are having some personality changes now. Okay, this is the management regarding hydrocephalus. Okay, next we will move on to the one disease condition, that is the cerebral palsy. Okay, it is also one of the CNS malformations in the children. Okay, what is meant by cerebral palsy? In this, the cerebral palsy is one of the neuromuscular disorder in the children. Okay, in this the children who are having a neuromuscular disorder, how we will be diagnosis means that muscles control should be abnormality. Okay, they are not having proper control of muscles and disorder of strength. They are not having good strength in bones and muscles. Okay, they are not maintaining good posture of the body structure. Okay, when sitting or when standing or when they are doing some movements, they are not maintain good control. Okay, next sometimes they are having the malformation in the motor center of brain. Okay, in the brain sensory centers, motor centers is there, no? In these motor centers having the some abnormality, that's why they are having these problems. Okay, this is the cerebral palsy. Next we will discuss about the causes for the cerebral palsy. In these intrauterine infections, in the mother womb, the mother having some uterine infections, that may be spread one cause of children embryos, this disease of cerebral palsy. Okay, another one, that is the maternal drugs, means in pregnancy period the mother excessively use of drugs or sometimes in previous stage, in previous days before pregnancy, the mother excessive use of some maternal drugs. Okay, that may be one side effect of cerebral palsy in the children after birth. Okay, sometimes the mother having excessive alcohol abuse habit, that may affect of cerebral palsy, and intracranial bleeding. Okay, in the brain some abnormal bleeding, due to these reasons also the children may have one disease of cerebral palsy. Okay, another one, that is the clinical manifestations, how we will diagnose it, how we will identify the children, means in this the children are having some paralysis. Okay, the body function should be abnormal, they are not doing normal activities. Okay, that paralysis of the body, that is the quadriplegia or hemiplegia, paraplegia, sometimes monoplegia, means that four extremities and the body completely abnormal functioning means quadriplegia, means the body having that four extremities, means upper extremities, lower extremities, complete paralysis. Okay, some hemiplegia, half of the body getting some paralysis, and some paraplegia and monoplegia means paralysis of the body parts. Next, feeding difficulties, they are not having good sucking reflex and good feeding habits. Why? Because this problem, that is the muscle control, muscle movements not supported. Okay, we are doing some activities, we are doing some movements, means with the control of muscles. Okay, here the nervous system should have some abnormality, at the same time the muscle not receive any nerve impulses, then the children are not doing any activities like sucking or feeding problems, sometimes they are not doing any movements. And diagnosis, how we will diagnose the children suffering with this problem, means CT scan and blood test, MRI, EEG, electroencephalography. Okay, through this test we have to identify any structural abnormalities or functional abnormalities of nervous system, that will be clearly find out by doing EEG. Okay, next we will discuss about complications. In these complications, what happens means delayed growth development. The normal structure of the body should be delayed. Next, another one, that is the skin breakdown. Okay, another symptom like another complication like seizures, abnormal electrical discharges from the brain is there, no? That condition we are observed who are having this cerebral palsy. Okay, next one is the management. In this management we have to administer the drugs of diazepam. Another one, that one drug, that is the chlordiazepam, another one is the levodopa, another one is the anticonvulsive drugs, another drug, that is the carbamazepine. Okay, these are the medical management, means by administration of these drugs we have to control this disease condition of cerebral palsy. Okay, next nursing management. As a nurse we have to assess the any complications or what is the normal health status or what is the abnormality. Depends upon the symptoms, we have to provide symptomatic treatment to the children. Okay, as a nurse we have to check the vital signs of the children and we have to do the neurological assessment of the children. Why? Because is there any abnormality in the nervous system, for correction and for providing correct nursing management, correct medications to the children. Okay, this is regarding cerebral palsy and hydrocephalus disease conditions in children.